In this video, we're talking about how to conduct UX audits for websites. Femi, is a website UX audit really necessary?
Yes.
Wow.
UX audit on a website is important because it identifies usability issues on your website. And most people and most e-commerce store and website don't understand the impact of usability issues. Usability issues, if not corrected, impact on cart abandonment. It impacts on your overall website customer experience. So task completion rate, say for example, you want someone to come to your website and register for, say, your email marketing or things like that. So if you're not doing usability testing to identify all these funnel flows and look at how existing customers are performing or behaving on your website, you're losing a lot of traffic and potential conversion. So some people will argue that you can use conversion rate optimization, CRO, to identify those problems. But you need to understand that CRO in the context of A/B testing is a subset of user experience. So you can't get as much success with CRO A/B testing as you would get conducting a UX audit. So UX audit is extremely important, and it's something that a lot of e-commerce brands fail to do. You have situations where you have a UX team and a CRO team in an organization that don't talk to each other. And you have instances where the UX team and the CRO team are combined together. They're one single team. So you have people that has UX skills and CRO skills. I'm talking about real life experience here. So usability audits or UX audits is more important, in my opinion, than A/B testing. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah.
So how do you conduct a website UX audit?
So based on website redesign projects that I've worked on in the past, there's no one standard way of doing a UX audit. It's not like, oh, you have to follow this sequence, but there's certain important elements that you need to look at. Depending on who is conducting the UX audit, if you have an in-house UX team, or you hire an agency, or you hire a consultant like myself to help you with a UX audit, the flow will be different. Let's take, for example, you hire an external consultant because you don't have an in-house UX team, or because it's not part of the structure of your team. You don't necessarily need to hire an internal UX team if your website or your organization is not a very big one. But it's important to have someone that has UX skill or has an appreciation of UX. So the first thing you need to look at when you're doing a UX audit is to have a stakeholder meeting. So this is where all the senior stakeholders, all the important parties involved with the website performance or website management, whatever you want to call it, in a room. So you want to understand the business KPI, the marketing KPI, the brand KPI, the content KPI. You want to understand all these important KPI as it currently exists. So you also want to understand the target customer. In some instances, you have organizations that spend millions of pounds or millions of dollars on marketing, but they don't have a customer profile. And that's what UX audit will help you identify, because that's part of it. Before I get to the user profile or user persona or customer persona, once you've had those stakeholder interviews with the important stakeholder, then you then have customer interviews. So this, you're trying to understand the customer, understand, okay, do we have the right persona? Do we have the right profile? And then you also want to then look at the analytics data. You want to look at the insights, qualitative and quantitative insights, to understand that, okay, what are the problems on the current website? What are the problems that currently exist? Then after that, you want to then look at competitors. When you're looking at competitors, you're not looking at them because you want to copy them, but you want to understand the different options that is open to the customer. You want to look at it from a customer's perspective. When a customer looking to buy something or looking to do something will not come to your website alone. They will go to other competitors. So you want to find a trend and a pattern to identify it. And then you also want to conduct heuristic evaluation. This is where you kind of look at the competitor's website, look at your current website. So these are all the important elements that comes to play. So based on all of this, you've identified problems. And now you're beginning to get a sense of, okay, these are the problems, these are the solutions. Then you want to also conduct usability testing. So this usability testing will be on your existing website, the funnel, the user flow, the checkout flow, important pages, and everything in that nature. You also want to conduct usability testing on competitors' website. This, you're gathering data, and then you then create, based on all you've done, the research you've done, the insight you've gathered, you then create a new version of all those funnels, all those pages, the navigation, and everything that the UX auditors identify as problem points. When you create those wireframe and those prototype, you then test that as well. And after you tested that, then you then create a report. And those reports will then be recommendations that, okay, this is what we should do, this is what we should do. And then you can then bring A/B testing into the play. You just don't want to go and implement things straight off the bat. So you need to validate those problems that you identify through usability testing. You need to then validate that. As I said, there's no set rule of how you do usability testing. You do usability UX audit, but it's something that I personally believe that is more valuable to increase conversion if layered with A/B testing.
So all of that sounds like a lot of work. Is a UX audit something that just happens once and then you do everything based off that, or is it more of an iterative process?
If you look at team structures in larger organizations, they have a full-time UX person on staff. And in some instances, they also have a UX agency on staff. But to answer your question, UX audit is something that you should do minimum once a year. And if you're a large website, then you can look at doing it twice. And UX audit doesn't necessarily need to be the whole website. A UX audit can be your checkout funnel. It can be your customer registration flow. It can be any flow that is important to your business, in business revenue and business performance. So for an end-to-end overhaul, the whole website, that doesn't happen very often. But for smaller flows, important flows, you can do UX audits. And if you're bringing out a feature or a product to your business, then you need to do UX audits before, in some instances, you get your potential target customer and kind of audit whatever flow you have. Or if you don't have that existing, you can do an audit of an existing competitor to then give you gather data from that before you then create your own product. So that's another thing you can get from UX audits. Yeah.
And how much does a website UX audit cost on average?
It depends if you're hiring me. So I've been in. It depends on the size of the website, the skills that you have internally, but what I would say is, for smaller websites, you'll be looking at £2,500. For mid-sized websites, you'll be looking at £4,500. But for larger, well-established brands, and when I call these numbers, it's not set in stone. You'll be looking at from £7,500. So those kind of numbers would get you business results because it will reduce waste of marketing budget. Say, for example, you're spending £3 million on your marketing. and you're wasting a lot of that. A UX audit would help you also identify channel performances, like, okay, you know, this acquisition channel is performing better than this. So, because traditionally, UX has been something that was done on products like television, fridge, and all those kind of electronics. But UX audit for a website is equally important because it gives you those insights, because everything is based on your customer. And one thing that I failed to mention earlier on when the process of a UX audit is also you create a customer persona. And that is important because then you're not trying to talk to everybody. You're talking to your target audience. So if you need UX audit for your e-commerce store or your website, reach out to me and I'll help you increase conversion of your website. Thank you.